Questions and Answers with the Prince of Macedon.
Hey guys, Prince of Macedon here, and I'll be starting up a new video series. This will be my questions and answers videos, and I'll be taking some of your questions. Not all of them, only a few, because I only have 11 minutes to do it. But I'm going to answer, questions, like mainly questions that are fun or historical questions, but hey, sky's the limit. Ask me what you want. I'll choose to answer what questions I feel like answering. Oh, by the way, whenever I have these questions and answers sessions, I'm going to tell you when I'm taking questions for the videos. Alright, so the first question is from Tom Zakir. My friend Tom Zakir asks, what do you expect from your adventure videos, and will you ever do a winter sport adventure vid? Well, first off, you're cheating. That was 2 questions, but I'm going to answer it anyways. What do I expect from my adventure videos? Well, I expect my adventure videos to occupy your soul! As for your second question, will you ever do a winter sport adventure vid? Well, Tom Zakir, the problem with that question is, we don't have winter in Florida. All we have here is summer. That said, we do have a sport here in Florida. It's very popular. It's called bikini watching. Whoa, Tom Zakir, check out the brunette with a 2-piece. Let's get her. Here's a question from the dictator of Rome. His question is, Papa John's or Pizza Hut? That's pretty simple. When it comes to thin crust pizza, Pizza Hut is the best. But when it comes to any other kind of pizza, I love Papa John's original crust. The dough they have is excellent. Like, you can press it with your finger, it's not greasy. It's very fresh. That's the only way I can describe it. And it's better tasting. My next question comes from a guy named PKerZXZ2, and his question is, if you have been to Canada, did you like it? If you haven't, what is your opinion on it, and would you like to visit it? Well, PK, actually I have been to Canada. In Florida, we have a place here called Epcot Center, and inside Epcot Center is the Canadian Pavilion. All the employees there are Canadian, and they serve the best steaks in Disney World. Oh, Canada! Alright, so my next question comes from Malus Regnum. His question is, England and America are going to face off in the Football World Cup. Who do you think is going to win? That is one difficult question, because there are 2 questions that we have to answer. First off, who do I think is going to win versus who do I want to win? Well, first off, I want the USA to win, of course, because I'm American and that's where I'm from, and you can never underestimate the underdog. Unfortunately, who do I think is going to win? I'm going to have to say England is going to destroy us. But none of that really matters, because Germany is going to clean the house at the World Cup. Yeah, as you guys don't know, well, some of you might know this, but I'm actually a hardcore Deutsche Fußballmannschaft fan. Ever since I grew up watching football, Germany has always been my favorite. Alright, my next question comes from Unit 06 Jaw. His question is, have you ever been to England? Do you have any wish to go there? Once again, that's 2 questions, but whatever. Yes, my friend, Unit 06 Jaw, I have been to England. After high school, as a graduation present, I was flown off to England for a week by myself, and I was able to visit such cities as Manchester, Hereford, London, and a few other places. And actually, I have some pictures to show you. You guys want to see it? This is me, and this is me after high school, and this is me by Old Trafford Football Stadium. I don't know if you can read that. This is me in Hereford. I visited this Norman-style church here, and it's humongous. I went inside, it was beautiful. Speaking of which, this is me inside that church. Look at that. That's me lighting some candles. Made a little donation. Here's a picture of me in London. This was by the River Thames, and in the back you can see Tower Bridge. My next question is a very long one. This one comes from WRH90059. His question is, do you think if Alexander lived after the mysterious illness, do you think he'd be able to take the rest of India? And if he did, do you think he'd be able to proceed east and conquer what he found? Well, after the Battle of the Hydaspes, although successful, the Macedonian army had had enough of fighting so far, and the army of King Porus had elephants, which were quite a shock to the Macedonians, and although they beat the elephants, they found out that their next kingdom that they had to fight against, the Sutlej, they had even more elephants than King Porus, and that was the breaking point. At the famous mutiny of the Hyphasis, led by Conus, the Macedonians said, no more, we're not going east anymore. But they had no qualms of going back west towards Persia, so Alexander actually had plans to take his campaigning west, first towards Arabia, then towards Carthage, then probably towards Rome. But as far as the East is concerned, I think Alexander was pretty much done with the East. I mean, possibly after he went west, he might have sent one of his subordinates to go out there. But as far as Alexander was concerned, I'm pretty sure that was the end of his Eastern campaign. Alright, my next question comes from Mr. Unicorn in 1995. His question is, which of Alexander's battles do you like the most, or most impressed by? Well, Mr. Unicorn 1995, that is a very difficult question for me to answer because, to me, all of Alexander's battles are pure art. But if I had to pick one battle, I would say the Battle of the Hydaspes River was my favorite. In that battle, Alexander and the Macedonians and their allies had to face, for the very first time, massive amounts of elephants, led by King Porus. And not only did he have to confront these elephants for the first time, he also had to cross the mighty Hydaspes River. So in order to defeat King Porus, he had to cross the river in secret and basically come in from both sides, one from across the river and one from behind King Porus. And that was a very tactical battle and probably one of Alexander the Great's crowning achievements on the battlefield. Alright, my next question looks like it's another Alexander the Great question, and it is from Jerker1000. His question is, in the Oliver Stone film about Alexander, what scenes would you have put in it if you directed it? Well, I actually liked the Oliver Stone film as it was. Sure, there's ways to improve it, but if I had my own way, I would make my own movie, and I would focus it more on one event, and I would take one of his battles, and I would just devote 3 hours completely to one of Alexander the Great's battles. That said, I would probably focus on the Battle of the Hydaspes River, because that whole battle was brilliant. I mean, there's like so many episodes that you can take and make it into an exciting movie. You can talk about how Alexander dressed up one of his own soldiers in his own armor so that King Porus thought Alexander was still across from him on the river, whereas Alexander was actually taking the other part of his army around King Porus' flank to cross the river and surprise King Porus from behind. But yeah, I would just focus on one battle, and that would be my movie. Alright, looks like I have time for one more question, unfortunately, and this question will be from Ambrose Epimaster. His question is, who do you think, in your opinion, would win in a battle? Alexander Suvorov or Napoleon Bonaparte? Well, that's a really hard question for me to answer because I love both of those guys as military commanders. That said, Suvorov, he did have a longer combat record than Napoleon. He also fought more battles than Napoleon, and he also won all of his battles. And he even fought some of Napoleon's future marshals, and he schooled them completely. That said, Napoleon's battles, like a lot of them, are considered to be masterpieces of 19th century warfare. And plus he also fought against very, very tough European opposition. Extremely tough. I don't want to say who would actually win in that kind of encounter. It'd be very close. Both were very aggressive. But I do gotta say this. My favorite commander after Alexander the Great? Napoleon Bonaparte. So, my heart tells me Napoleon Bonaparte, but seriously, between those two guys, it's too hard to say. Unfortunately, guys, that's all I have time to answer today. Maybe next time I do this, I'll answer more questions. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.